This conference will now be recorded.
Okay, so in the last section we were talking about the data, and we were also talking about the literal. So we were talking about the literal case. Okay, so program basics. So we were talking about the literal. So we had okay. So in that literal part, we talked about uh, numeric literals, character-based literals, Boolean literals, null literals, where numeric literals are like the representation of numbers. Okay, so integers, float point literals. Okay, so float point literals are like for measurement purpose. So they have three parts: integer part, decimal point, and the fractional part. So character-based literals, you have the characters, single characters, multiple characters. Okay, so multiple characters are also called as strings. Okay, multiple characters are also called as strings. So then we had Boolean. So Boolean literals were only true or false. Okay, so Boolean literals were only true or false. And finally, we talked about the representation of a null value, which will representing nothing. Okay, so how can we use that? We can use it as null. Okay, so you can use it as null. So null is the representation of the null value. Okay. Now we have the literal. So we have the literal ready. Now we need to store the literal. Okay, so what we need to do? So we need to store these literals. Okay, so how we are going to store those literals? So we are going to store those literals using the variables. So what is the next topic that we are going to talk about? Variables in Java. Okay, so we are going to talk about variables in Java. So whenever I am talking about a variable, okay, so what is a variable here? So variable is a memory location. So what is a variable here? A variable is a memory location. Okay, so what is a variable, sir? A variable is a memory location that will hold the data value. Okay, so what is a variable, sir? A variable is a memory location that will hold the data value. So whenever I'm talking about a variable here, so what is a variable? Variable is a memory location that will hold a data value. So what the variable will be holding? The variable will be holding a data value. Okay. Right. So as I told you, it is a memory location. So we can just take it as like, now for example, if we are saying something like x is equal to 5. Okay, so what you are storing here? You are storing this 5 value. Okay, so what you are doing? You are storing this 5 value. So 5 value in x. So what is x here? X is a variable. X is a variable. So what is that variable holding? Variable is holding a value. Variable is holding a value, and every variable will have some address also. Okay. So every variable will have some address also. Okay. So what is variable? Variable is a memory location that will hold the data value, and as it is a memory location, it will have the address. So in Java, we don't use the address, but anyhow, you need to know it. Okay. So we don't use any address anyway, but you need to know what that address is. Address is like a unique place where the variable is stored. Okay. Right. So whenever I talk about a variable is a memory location. So what is a variable, sir? A variable is a memory location. So what that memory location will do? So memory location will be holding the data for us. Okay, so memory location will be helpful for holding the data value. So you can hold any data value. So now, for example, if you are saying something like, okay, so if you are saying something like x y is equal to, okay, so if I'm saying y is equal to, so y is equal to something like 4.56, okay. So what is y holding now? So y is holding a value called 4.56. So this is also a data value. This is also a data value. It's a variable. So what you are doing here? You are making the data to be stored at some place. Okay. So data is stored at some place. So you are storing 4.56 in y and you are storing 5 in x. Okay. So like that, you are making the data to be hold on some of the variables. So what is variable, sir? Variable is a memory location. Variable is a memory location that will be holding the data for you. Okay, so that is the meaning basically. Okay, so you can have anything. Now, for example, if I'm saying f is equal to, so f is equal to Java. So what I'm doing, I'm storing the string. So string or collection of characters. Okay, so in f. So and I will say g is equal to something like true. Okay, so something like true. And I will say something like k is equal to null. Okay, so k is equal to null. Means I can store any data value. I can store any data value. Okay, so in the variable. So what is equal to then? So what is the meaning of this? Now, for example, if I say, okay, so what is that I'm saying here? So in x is equal to 5, what we say? 5 is a data value. 5 is a data value that is assigned. Okay, so that is assigned into x. Okay, so what we are saying here? 5 is a data value that is assigned into x. So with the help of what? With the help of, okay, so with the help of what? So with the help of assigned into x, with the help of, so with the help of equal to. So what is equal to, set here? Equal to, okay, so with the help of what? Equal to. What is equal to called as, so equal to is known as the assignment operator. Equal to is known as the assignment operator. So what we look into this? We look into this, okay, so it is nothing but an assignment operator. So whenever I say assignment operator, so what you are doing? You are making that file as a data value which will go into it with the help of the assignment operator. Okay. Now we will understand what exactly a variable uh, property is. Okay. So in Java, in Java programming, the variable can be varied. The variable can be varied. That is, okay. So what is that? Variable can be varied in the sense that is we can we can make the value. We can make the value updated. We can make the value updated. Okay, so we can make the value updated. For example, if I say uh, double the value of x. So what I'm saying here, double the value of x. So if I'm saying double the value of x, what you are going to do is, so you are going to say x is equal to x into 2. So what you are saying here, x is equal to x into 2. So means what you are saying here, you are saying x is having a value of something like 5. Okay, so because I said x is equal to 5, right? So I said x is equal to 5. As I said, x is equal to 5. Okay, so what is the value of x now? The value of x is going to be 5. Okay, so the value of x is going to be 5. And x value can be updated. Means x is equal to x into 2. So what is x into 2 here? So x is equal to x into 2 is nothing but, so you are having a value x, taking the value, okay, so taking the value of x into 2. X into 2 in the sense, so 2, 5 into, so 5 into 2. So what is 5 into 2 here? So 5 into 2 is nothing but 10. So what is the x value now? X value is updated to 10. So what is the x value? X value is updated to 10. So never say that 5 is updated to 10. So always say that, so what you have to say here? So you have to say that x value is updated from 5 to 10. So never ever say that 5 value is changed to 10. So always say that the x value is updated from 5 to 10, because x can be updated. So variable can be updated. The literal cannot be updated. Okay. Always remember the fact. Okay, so literal cannot be updated, but the variable can be updated. So x can be changed there. Okay, so x can be updated, but the 5 is not like updated. So 5 is changing there. 5 is changing. X value is getting updated. Okay, so that is the power of the variable. So using a variable, okay, so using a variable, we can, okay, so we can use or reuse the data. We can use or reuse the data value. So using a variable, we can use or reuse the data value. Okay, so we can use or reuse the data value. Okay, so that is the way that we will talk about the variables. So what is the variable here? So variables are nothing but the memory location. Variables are nothing but what? Memory location. So variables are nothing but the memory location which are used to hold the data. Which are used to hold the data. Okay, so which are used to hold the data. So they will be helping you out to hold the data. So they will be helping you out to hold any type of data, with the help of the assignment operator. And whenever you are talking about data here, so you are assigning the data with the help of equal to operator. And what is the power of variable? The power of variable is it can even get updated. Okay, so it can even get updated. So the updation can take place. Okay, so updation can take place. So that is a point that we are going to talk about in the with the help of the variable. Okay, so this is the way that we are going to deal with the variable. Okay. Okay. So now I want to tell you one important point on the variable. So whenever you are talking about the variable, so you need some rules and regulations. Rules for, okay, before going to the rules, I want to tell you one more thing. Uh, Initialization. So the very important point here. Initialization. So what do you mean by initialization? Okay. So initialization of a variable. So what is initialization of a variable? So initialization of a variable means a very important term here that you need to understand. So whenever you are saying initialization, so you are going for, okay, so initialization of a variable means declaring declaring a value into the variable, declaring a value into the variable for the first time. So for the first time in the program. Okay. So declaring a value into the variable for the first time in the program. Okay. So is called initialization. Is called what? Is called initialization. So it's called initialization. So whenever you are talking about initialization means, so declaring the value for the first time in the program. Now, for example, x is equal to x is equal to 5. So you are giving it first time in the program. So you are giving it first time in the program. So this is what is called initialization. Next, assign. Okay, so next is what? So next is assign. So assignment means assignment of a variable. So assignment of a variable means uh, making making. Okay, so I'll just type it something like this. Okay, so making the variable update. Okay, so making the variable update. Okay, so making the variable update, right? So what is this called? So this is known as the assignment of a variable. Making the variable update. Okay, so making the variable update after its initialization. After its initialization. So you are making update of a variable after its initialization. After its initialization, we call it as what? So we call it as its assignment. So assignment of a variable after its initialization. After your initialization is done, if you are making any changes, so that is what is called assignment of a variable. So first time it is always called as initialization. So this term you will be listening lots of times. Suppose x is equal to x into 2. So I am making changes into the variable. So that is what is called assignment. Okay. Next we will talk about the rules for variable declaration. Rules for the variable declaration. Okay. Or I should say naming rules. Okay. So naming rules for the variable declaration. So first and foremost is it cannot so it cannot be a keyword. It cannot be a keyword. So what is the first and foremost rule? It cannot be a keyword. Now for example, I have some keywords like class. Okay, so class uh, is equal to 7 because class is a keyword. Class is a keyword. So you have other keywords like now for example you have something like public. Okay, so public is equal to 8. So these are not allowed. Okay, so these are not allowed. So these are not allowed. Why? Because the class is a keyword. Class is a keyword, public is a keyword. So assigning the values cannot be assigning the values cannot be taken. Okay, so it cannot be a keyword. Who cannot be a keyword here? So for our simple understanding, so variable name cannot be a keyword. Okay. Second rule, a variable name cannot have spaces. So cannot have spaces. Okay. So cannot have spaces. Now for example, if I am saying xy is equal to 58. So you cannot have spaces like this. Okay. So you cannot have spaces. So there cannot be the space. So this space is not allowed. So this space is not allowed. So what you can see over here? So you can see the some small space. So that space is not allowed. The space is not allowed in the variable name. Okay. So space is not allowed. So then a variable name cannot have character cannot have character. Okay, so cannot have character other than cannot have character other than okay, so cannot have character other than uh, underscore and dollar. Okay, so cannot have characters other than underscore and dollar. Okay, variable name cannot have characters other than underscore and dollar. Now, for example, if I am having x underscore y is equal to 50. So this is correct. So this can be taken. Okay, so this can be taken. Okay, and you can even write something like this: xy is equal to 85. So this is allowed. So this is allowed. This is allowed, and you can even take underscore. Okay, so you can even take the underscore. Now, you can even take the dollar symbol. So you can even take the dollar symbol. Okay, suppose for example, anywhere you can have, so you can have even the dollar symbol, and here also you can have the dollar symbol. So this is also right, and this is also right. So if you are going for any other thing, okay, so if you are going for any other thing other than dollar and underscore, it is said to be illegal. Okay, so it is said to be illegal. Now, for example, if I am saying x hat. Okay, so except very while, or if I say something like hat. So these are not allowed. So these are not allowed. So always remember, a variable name cannot have any other characters other than underscore and dollar symbol. Okay, so dollar symbol. Okay, and then we will talk about the next rule. A variable cannot have uh, cannot start. Okay, so cannot start by a digit. Cannot start by a digit. Now, for example, if somebody is saying 1x is equal to 99, so it is not allowed. So x1 is equal to 99, definitely it is allowed. Okay, so 1x is equal to 99, not allowed, but x1 is equal to 99 is allowed. Okay, so in this way, you are going to take the things. A variable name cannot start by a digit. 1x is equal to 99, x1 is equal to 99. So what you are doing there? So you are going for a rule. A variable name cannot start by a digit. So this is not allowed. So this is allowed. So I'll show you when we take up the uh, software to do it. Okay, so I'll show you in which software we can go for it. So uh, I want you to install Visual Studio Code. Okay, so I'll just give you the link so you can make use of the Visual Studio Code initially. So then later I'll tell you about the Eclipse and all, because Visual Studio is easy to download, so you can have and it is mostly used nowadays by most of the people. So I'll give you the link where to download. I'll give you the link so that you can download it right now. Okay. So let me give you the link. Okay. So you can go for Visual Studio Code for Ubuntu. So I use Ubuntu machine. So Visual Studio Code. So you can just go to this Visual Studio Code. Okay. So you can go for uh, you can go for Visual Studio Code and you can say download. Okay. So you can go for the Windows download. Okay. So you can go for the Windows download. So I will copy this. I'll share you this file and the previous file also. So Visual Studio Code download. So Visual Studio Code download. So the link is okay. So here is the link. Okay. So the link and what you can get is so you are going to get okay. So right. So this is the one. So I can drag it 1 second. I'm able to drag it. So you can just look at the link there. So you will get that link. So once you get the download, okay. So once you get the download, so it is just like next. I'll also put one file which will have all the steps. So that file also I will send to you. Okay. So I will look for that file. Okay. So then go to the Visual Studio. Okay. So in that Visual Studio, so this is how a Visual Studio looks like. Okay. So here you can go for file. Here you can say new text file. Okay. So once you say new text file, okay, let me close all this. So new text file. So you can generally save the file first. Okay. So new text file. So you can save as, okay. So save as, select your folder. Okay, suppose I'm selecting Java Pro. So I will name this as demo.java. Okay, so demo.java. So I will save this. So once I save, okay, so will I save, so save as again Java Pro demo.java. Okay, so demo.java and save. Okay, here you got demo.java, right? So now you will get all the support basics. So class, something like demo. Okay, so now you can see the support. Okay, I will increase the font a bit. Okay, so class demo. So you'll get the support basically. So here you can say public static void main automatically it comes. So you don't have to worry about typing. Okay. So here, suppose if I am giving x is equal to 5, okay, and if I am saying y is equal to 3, okay, x is equal to 5, y is equal to 3, see, automatically it is giving me suggestion. You can do x plus y, something like that. Okay, so that's the help you will get from the Visual Studio. But so here, if you can see, what is saying, it is saying cannot find symbol variable x. So it is recognizing that it is a variable, it is recognizing that it is a variable, but still it is giving me error. Okay, so what error it is giving me? It is giving me, or it is telling me that there is something incomplete. So what is that incomplete? So if you can just see, so it is saying create, it is giving suggestion that you can give something called as int. So what is this int? We should understand, or we should know what is this int. So this int is called as the data type. So what is the suggestion it is giving here? So we step here. So we are asking it to quickly fix the problem. Okay, so we are asking it to quickly fix the problem. So you can see when if I keep the cursor there, so it is saying quick fix. Okay, so it is giving me an option to quickly fix it. Okay, so quickly fix it. Okay, so just I will put the cursor here. Okay, so quick fix it is saying. So now create field in white. So it's faster. So we are going for quick. Okay, quick fix. So create local variable y. So it is what we are doing. So we are getting something like now there is no red line or something. Now we have to understand what is this. Okay, so now we have to understand what is this. This is called as the data type. So just now I was saying. Now for example, if you are giving 1x, okay, so it will give you error. Okay, so it will give you error. So it is saying there is some error. Okay, so there is some error. Okay. So suppose if you are giving some space, okay, x space y is equal to, so if you are giving something like hash b, okay, so it is also giving you error. So these are all the variable rules, okay, all the variable rules. So we will try to look at once again. But today what we will do is, so we will try to define the data type. Okay, so now what is this int telling me actually? So int is telling me that, hey boss X, you can take an integer data value. Hey Y, you can take an integer data value. Okay, so what they are saying you exactly, 3 you can go into Y, 5 you can go into X. You are having the data type. You are having the data type. So what are these actually? So these are nothing but the data type. Okay, so I'll attach a file. So I'll attach a file to this. Okay, so file will be attached. File will be attached for VS Code. So we call it as VS Code actually. Visual Studio Code download. So I will attach it. But today what we'll do is, so we just define what is data type, and we will see, we will also go for what are the things that are there behind the data type. Okay. A data type is a Java program component. What is the data type, sir? A data type is a Java program component. A data type is a Java program component that will convey the type of the data. Convey the type of the data. Okay, so that will convey the type of the data. A variable can hold. A variable can hold. Okay, so variable can hold. Okay, right. So this is point number one. So, so for example, uh, you have, because just now I have shown you, right? So you have this code. So what is this int? So int is saying that, okay, so int is telling you that, okay, so int is telling you that you are holding, okay, so int is telling you that, so here you got the output on. Okay, so anyhow we will say that. So you are going for int. So what is this int basically? Int is nothing but, so int is nothing but what? Int is nothing but the data type. So what is int telling you? So int is telling me that, okay, so 5, it is an integer value. So 5 is an integer value that can go into x. That can go into x. Okay. So example, int x is equal to 5. So int is what? Int is a data type. So here int is a data type. Int is a data type that convey that convey convey an integer, that convey an integer to be stored, integer to be stored onto x and y. Okay, here integer data type that convey an integer to be stored into x and y. So that is what it is saying. Okay, so that is how you can see. So that is how you can see that 5 is stored in x and 3 is stored in y. So like this, we have so many categories of data. In Java, we have 4 categories of data type. Okay, so we have how many categories of data type? 4 categories of data type. Okay, so what is the first category of the data type? So first category of the data type is numeric category, or else I will discriminate them. I will say integer category. Okay, so integer category. Okay, and then you have float point category. Okay, so float point category, and you have character category. Okay, so character category, and you have Boolean category. Okay, so Boolean category. Okay, just I'll have the names today. So in our next session, we'll go into the next topic. Okay, so under the integer, you have byte, short, int. So we have just used int. So we have just used int. You can use byte also, you can use short also, you can use int also, and you can use long also. But what is the difference between all these things? We will understand in our next section. Okay. So under the float category, you have float and double. Okay. So we have float and double. Okay. So under the float point category, you have float and double. Then under the character category, so you have character. Okay. So you have character and you have string also. So string basically is a class actually. So string is a class rather than a data type. We can call it as a class. Okay. Anyhow, that I will talk about it later clearly. And then you have a boolean. So byte, short, int, long, float, double, character, and boolean. So this is special. So I'll just put a star mark on this string. So we will mark that special. But the other eight, okay. So the other eight are also known as the primitive data type. So in the above representation, okay. So in the above representation, so uh, the byte short, okay. So let me just copy this. So the byte short int long, okay. So and you have uh, float and double. So float and double, and you have character. Okay, so you have what? So you have the character and you have boolean. So what are they called? So they are called the, okay, so are known as primitive primitive data type. Okay, are known as what? Primitive data type, or you can say uh, okay, so byte, short, int, long, float, double, character. So they are the primitive data types. Okay, so they are the primitive data types. They can hold only a single value. Okay, so they can hold only a single value. So they are known as the primitive data type. So total eight. So total eight primitive data types for us. So string will not come under the primitive data type. So string is not a primitive data type because it is a class. Okay, so the whole representation of it is a little bit different. But we will talk about these things, these four categories in our next session. Okay. So hopefully everyone understood today's session. Anyone having any doubts, any questions, you can raise it right now. Just yeah, Sai, Swapna, Shiva. If you have any doubts, any questions regarding anything, you can ask. Data type discussion, make it tomorrow. Okay. Okay, so meanwhile, you download that Visual Studio. So I'll send you that file also. Okay.
Okay, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. Thank you, everyone. Thank you.